Hey guys, welcome to Coco Wednesdays. I am Coco Kinsey and I'm so glad to be back with you guys. It has been way too long. So if you are part of the family and you stuck by me and I have your listening ears today, I am grateful. I am so grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you are new and just so happen upon this page because you were looking for a specific topic, thank you for coming. I welcome you to this space as well. It is this place of respect, growth, healing, all these wonderful things. I welcome it, and we learn and grow with each other. So make sure, in order to do that, we need to stay connected. So make sure that you click that button so you can become a part of the community and the family. And for everybody, make sure you click that notification button because it has been so long, so much has transpired, and I want to make sure I share all those things that I think that can be helpful or that you guys may be able to help me from some of the stories, everything I want to share with you guys. So maybe you can drop some information for me and we can just continue to grow together. Today, I specifically want to talk about what happens after an autism spectrum disorder diagnosis. We were recently diagnosed, and I want to share what my experience has been, some things that have really helped me. I am not a licensed psychologist. I will not pretend to be. I will not pretend to have all the answers because I don't. But what I can also tell you is don't get too worried and don't get nervous or have too much anxiety because I've met mothers who are 25 years in, 20 years, 15, 10, who they don't have all the answers either. We all will not have all the answers because when we talk about a spectrum, we are talking about beautiful colors, beautiful ranges that are unique to each individual and is constantly changing. So my story is going to be different from somebody else's. It may be similar, but it's things that are going to uniquely make my story or my child's story unique to them. Like we were diagnosed with high functioning autism. Now, again, in the comments, I would love to hear more discussion about how people feel about high functioning, low functioning. I know it's a big debate and some people take it as offensive. Now, the only reason in this moment that I'm using it is because this is how the doctor explained it to us so we can have an understanding. She explained it to us as high functioning autism, or if Asperger's was still on the scale, then that is what he would have been, I guess, diagnosed with. Um, but from my research, whatever that means, and also just from being in different groups and listening to people's story who have been given a high functioning diagnosis, it can look different. Like I say again, it can look different for every person. So don't get caught up too much in the labels because it is unique to you. Now, for us, once we got the diagnosis, for us, the first thing that was helpful was to feel whatever you're feeling. If you are feeling sad, if you are feeling that grief of a life, whatever you thought life may be, or the life that you wanted or saw for your children. Now, first of all, let me say that it doesn't mean that life is over, that it can't be, but it's okay also to feel scared. Now, I will say don't sit in it, don't linger in it, because it can become overwhelming and we don't want it to drown you, but it's okay to feel scared. It is okay, it is new. That was something that was very real. Um, for some of my family members, me, I was happy. I felt relieved. Now, also, everybody's going to have different perspectives sometimes, even within families, even husband, wives, sometimes brothers, sisters, because again, it's your experience and how you see it. Perception plays a big part in how we react when we're talking about the disorder, getting the disorder and what to do with it as the guardians, the parents. I'm a stay-at-home mom. We homeschool, so I am the mommy, the teacher. I'm so many different things. So it's so much that I do see. So for me, getting the diagnosis did not come as a complete surprise. And I was really excited because of what I thought all the resources that I was going to get. Now that's a whole nother story about the resources or lack thereof, which would send me then into the category of fear. So again, on this journey of your feelings, they can be fluid because there's things that come up that may scare you. There's things that can come up that make you go, okay, I'm not alone, or I feel supported in that area. So first things first, but whatever you do, be okay with feeling however you feel. Now, I'm gonna keep looking down these sticky notes, guys. So just to make sure, I just want to make sure I cover all the things that I thought were really, really important. So step one is feel whatever you're feeling and be okay with that. And really, as parents, make sure whatever you're feeling, don't put your feelings on the child, especially negative feelings. Allow them also the space, the healthy space to feel what they're feeling. If they're sad, if they're okay, like, definitely support that, but making sure everybody is allowed the space to feel how they feel. Now, as the parents, you want to make sure that you have a united front. Now, if there are any issues where it has to be a front, then you definitely want to address those and get whatever necessary help that you may need in those areas. But make sure you both are there and that your child knows or your children know that you are there to support them. That is of the utmost importance. Now, the next step, and it can be different for different people. For me, it was to make sure to find a community. Now, some people say that for them, automatically, they wanted to find a doctor, which I highly recommend. But for me, my next step was finding, well, one, also disclaimer, we were already in behavioral health therapy. But the irony in that, which is another story for another day and another video, but the story in that, ironically enough, we have been in there for a while in our behavior with our behavioral health therapist. The week we get diagnosed, the next week he is leaving. So again, when I tell you this journey is up and down, I was feeling real safe and confident in my resources and okay, we're good. Therapist leaving had me a little scared. And so once that happened, like I said, so you start thinking, okay, so when I say community, community is what showed up for me. So had he not already been in behavioral health therapy, I highly recommend getting in a community because also you're going to find out different things, different acronyms that you might not have any idea about. Also, doctors can be very, very helpful. It can be different with each experience because sometimes doctors, first of all, lately have been bombarded by with so much and have so much on their plate that they might not have the time to take. So I definitely just recommend also having groups that you can go to, groups online. There's a million Facebook groups, but also make sure, screen the groups, make sure that they're healthy for you and that you open, this open, healthy dialogue. Um, and when you go from there, you will be able to see so many different things. You'll be able to see people with stories like you, and you'll be able to ask those questions that are specific to you. And you don't just have to accept, um, Joe Blow as the doctor. And not to say that you ever have to, but you may be able to get a little bit more insight. Like for me, when it was like, okay, well, doctors leaving the practice, we need to find a new doctor. First of all, it's a long waiting list for several of the places that we've looked at. But even at that, there are certain specifics that I wanted. Like it was really important to me for my son to have a black male doctor if possible. And the doctor he had, because my son, he thinks he's the second coming of Jimi Hendrix. To be able to have a doctor that actually looked like him, who had hair like, I mean, just all those things of representation were so beneficial to him that I can't say that I would not deviate from that because oh my goodness, like his best friend, like one of his best friends is blonde hair, blue eyes, and his dad is phenomenal with Connor. So if I found doctor who had a personality like him and it just gelled, then great. But there are certain things that I'm looking for. So the community has been awesome with reaching out and just giving that information. The community does not have to be online. Think about those safe family members that you feel comfortable sharing that information with. And it may grow as time goes on, but while you're taking the time to process it, you might not share with everybody immediately. But if you do, that's okay too. Whatever you do, you just want to make sure it is healthy spaces, especially for those children. Then the next step for me, I'm just trying to think. I'm sorry. Like, you decide what info you want to share and with whom. Um, maybe does your kid want to share it with some of his friends or her friends? Are there Do you want to share it with the whole family? Do you want to share it with some family? When is it needed to be discussed? So all these things may come up. Even the conversation of, do I have the conversation with my child or not? Because that I've seen that debate. For me, I did not see a world where not telling my child would be okay, because I just didn't think it was healthy for him. And what I didn't want for him to do was to go research it and feel left alone out there on his own to try to figure all these big concepts out. I want him to feel supported. I want him to feel and know that he can come to me or his dad about anything. So for me, that is a huge step in deciding when and how you're going to tell the child, because that makes all the difference in the world. Making sure that and I say this, that not just talking BS, not just trying to hype us up, because I know, like, I talk positivity, but knowing first and foremost and understanding that autism is not an intellectual issue. It is not. I don't care if your child is verbal, nonverbal, it is not an intellectual issue. It's just a matter of how to figure out how to communicate. So those ones that are nonverbal or kind of in the middle, they're getting the information. They're getting what you're saying. It's just, how do we communicate that out? So once we understand that, that takes away so much of the fear. It takes away so much of the anxiety. So when you're talking to your child, really making sure to drive that, and that they understand it. And when I say drive it, you don't have to literally do that, because I can sometimes be a literal person and I can go overboard, which I have done. But making sure that just they know, and in your actions and how you show up. My son was very aware of some of his social things, like, just, because even how, when I decided to keep the appointment, because we had been on the waiting list for 3 years, when I decided to still keep the appointment, part of it was because he had recently had questions about, I really think that people don't understand me sometimes. There really seems to be a disconnect, mommy. And by the time he is that aware, I want to make sure, oh, you know what? You're right. You were right. And the fact that he was that aware makes me so glad. And ding, it's another accomplishment for him. So making sure that, again, like, we show up in those moments for that. Um, Let me see. There was one more. Let me see. Plan the future. Some people will plan the future to adulthood. For me, I take it day by day in our family, and maybe year by year. I try to plan a few months out. What is this going to look like? What activities were really going to be good? For my son, with where he is on the spectrum, again, at least on the spectrum right now, um, it's really important to be put in the mix of all kids and really being able to function and navigate on what life really looks like. So once he is outside of the world of mommy, so we are a part of all kind of homeschool groups. One of our favorites is our homeschool PE group, where we are well around multiple kids. Sometimes it is rough and sometimes it is not. I mean, but those are things that he's learning along the way. My biggest thing for my son is that I do not want him to learn to mask. Now, when it's healthy, I think it's okay to adjust. And again, there's a heavy debate and topic about what that looks like when you talk about masking. But for me, I want him to be okay with if he needs to stem, then you stem. His stemming looks like he swings his arms, like that just brings him joy. And I can't, that's probably like the biggest thing for him. And sometimes he'll rub his fingers together. It sometimes can make people feel uncomfortable or like if they deem it not normal, but it's more stressful to him to not do it. So making sure he is allowed the space to just be completely himself. Allow your kids the healthy space to be themselves. Lastly, research, 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 research. And when I say that a million times, I don't mean overly go into it. If you want to do so, however, still set up healthy limits and boundaries so you don't overwhelm yourself. But just making sure you have that information, you are ready with questions, you are equipped with the knowledge that is there for you so you can ask the necessary questions. At the end of the day, we are all advocates for our children. We are that first line of defense, we are their voice. And they look to us to kind of be that person to navigate. So we want to make sure that we're well informed. No, it doesn't mean that you need to go get your dissertation ready to write your paper. No, but just making sure that you do take the time to be read up on what is best for your child, what it looks like. And if you don't know, knowing where you could possibly get those answers, and again, having that communication and support. And before I forget, lastly, making sure we take care of ourselves first. And then our children, because we have to be healthy. And when I say healthy, a lot of times people think about the physical and mental, spiritually, whatever that is or looks like for you, being physically, mentally, spiritually, hormonally, all these things, so we can show up in the best way, in the best moments for our children, our family, whoever you're here to assist. And so that is what I want to do, leave those jewels and things that have helped me really make those lifestyle changes. So no diets, not anything that I feel like would not be sustainable, but really being able to say, okay, I'm going to change my life because we're in this together, we're in this partnership, and I want to make sure that I'm here for you and that you are here for me, that we're in this together. So I will be dropping little nuggets about like that on my page, on my social media pages, foods that have helped us, foods that have made a difference when I've added and taken different things out of our diet. So make sure that you like, subscribe, like this, leave it in the comment. I'm definitely open. Leave something in the comments. Let me know. I'm open for full discussion, disclaimers. Make sure you go and like my social media pages at Coco Kinsey. There will be lots of valuable information coming. And the surprise at the end, if you made it this far, even if you fast forward, it's okay. Okay. If you have been a part of this family, then you know that I love, love, love to do self-care giveaway boxes. It is my thing. Now, because this is a month of April, that means it is my birthday month and it is my son in celebration of autism awareness and celebration of his birth. I'm doing two giveaway boxes. Now, it does look a little bit different this time than before. In order to be automatically put into the drawing for the box, you need to, if you're not already, go ahead and like my Instagram page, or go ahead and follow me on Instagram rather. And every Wednesday, I will be posting information about whatever the topic is for that week, just to show that you're there in the community. Let me know you're here. Even if you watch the video, if you haven't yet, just let me know, hey, I got you, you got me. We're looking out for one another and we're holding each other to accountability. Because even if you can't get something out of the video, maybe there's somebody that maybe there's something that you can add, but it's just being present for each other and showing up in that moment. So make sure you follow me on Instagram to be put into the drawing, and make sure you leave a comment on whatever the Cocoa Wednesday um, picture reel is for that particular day or week, and you will automatically be placed into the drawing. Find me in the descriptions. I will leave all the details below. Thank you for my little TED talk. I really, again, cannot thank you guys enough. I'm so excited. There will be more content to come very, very soon before our next episode of Cocoa Wednesday. So be sure to click that notification bell, and I will talk to you guys real soon. Love, peace, light, many blessings.